Okay, perfect. Let's see the notification. Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a wonderful guest with us today, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Sister Denesha of Detroit, residing now in Las Vegas. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
And I just want to thank you on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast for taking time out of your busy schedule to come let us know about the amazing work that you are doing in Las Vegas and have been doing for quite some time. So we want to hear about your business. So the first thing we want to do is, what is your business?
My business is the Academy of Cultivation. So with it, it's really where etiquette meets academia. So you have etiquette training going on. You have ESL, which is English as a second language, going on for those who don't speak English. So that's the weekend cultivation piece. And then you have Maham Ed, which is the academic consulting piece, because not everyone wants to go to a traditional college, or they may. So we gather information for them so that they may be successful. So that's the business that I do. And so it's a lot of things going on at the Academy.
All praises due to Allah. And this, when I read your inbox and saw the website, and it showed me this is one of the reasons I do the People's Podcast, is to highlight this type of productivity that we have from the believers as offering the community and offering the world that people don't know about. So can you break it down in layman's terms for people who are watching? If someone goes to your website, somebody reaches out to you, what's the first thing that they can learn?
The first thing that they're going to see is actual, if you click on Supreme Etiquette, you can take the etiquette courses. If you know someone and they don't, they may struggle with English, it may not be their first language, they can click on ESL Weekend Cultivation. And then if you have a student that's wishing, they're wanting to go off to colleges and things like that, they can click on Maham Ed for the academic advising piece. Right now, we are running a 4-week math camp. Allah has blessed me to raise money. Thank everybody for donating to hire a math instructor. So Sister Aisha Muhammad from Las Vegas, she's out of the mosque in Las Vegas. She's doing a wonderful job with the math camp. And so I just wanted to encourage everybody, especially with that. I am an academic advisor for a college, but I've taken that skill that I have and I've moved it into a platform that's going to allow us to shift into a new paradigm when it comes to education. So very excited about the Academy. Very excited.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Excellent. People are showing you love all over the country in the comments. Thank you all for your messages, your text messages. My sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum, family. And people are showing you love all across the country. Okay, wonderful.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. Now, the academic, what's the grade level when we're dealing with academics?
I really would like for them to come in as early as 10 or 11 for the math camp. And I just want to just say how that came about. So I work at a college, and I've been in higher ed for quite some time, but I noticed that the foundational math piece went away. So now you have where pre-algebra is gone. You have elementary algebra gone, intermediate algebra 1 gone, but you have all these Black students or Hispanic students coming in, and they're actually wanting to go into these STEM majors. And so now if you don't have the foundational part of what builds up to pre-calculus or calculus 1 or 2 to go into physics and like biochemistry, you're not going to make it. And so sometimes you see them, they come in the door, they do desire. They desire it, but they cannot get past the math. Math have become a fear for most of us. I told the story about how Ms. Gorman, when I was going to school in East St. Louis, she was whooping our behinds for the math problems being wrong. And then you get home and then, That's why I say, parents, look, don't whoop your children if you don't understand the math question either. So it puts like a roadblock up, and that's what's happened to many of our children. And it's like that for adults too. There's a sign in my office that says you cannot run from math. You can't run for it's everywhere. And so, students will come in, they'll be like, oh, I wanted to be an engineer, Miss Denesha, but I'm a back out. And I'm like, no, I need you to stay in this major. I don't let them out. I had the aviation students at one point, and I'm like, they're like, oh, I don't want, because they didn't think they would have to take math, right? I'm like, I need you to fly these planes. That's what I need you to do, because I'm always thinking ahead. So I've moved that platform and utilized that to move it into a different platform where I can assist our people. That's what it really came down to. Thank you, sir.
This is amazing, Sister Denesha. Where can we find it? How can we support it?
You can go right to www.theacademyofcultivation.com, and you will be able to find these things that are going on at the Academy.
Yes, ma'am. And let's say, and what's the age limit, the age group?
You can come in, if it's etiquette training, I want them to come in probably at the age of 5 and up. I want to start them very early, because when you understand that etiquette, everything starts with etiquette. And not just, there's two types of etiquette. There's the etiquette within you, and there's the etiquette on the outside. Because sometimes you have to really think of etiquette. People think, oh, we're going to learn etiquette and set the tables, but they find out when they take the course that it really delves into how you treat people and really how you treat yourself. So you can be nasty in the inside, well-dressed, but nasty, and someone can be not well-dressed, and while you're pushing them around inside, they're admiring you. So it's a different type of etiquette. But we do talk about table setting. You're not going to act a fool at the table. We're not doing that now. We're not going to do it.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And my sister Naima sends the greetings, and people from all over the country are showing you love. On YouTube, please let us know what city you're watching on YouTube. And speaking of that, we have a few more questions for you, Sis Denesha. Just we're gonna be with you for a minute, because you're breaking down some things with us with etiquette and math and ESL, just a lot of stuff that we want to talk about. But what was it of etiquette? What you sent me a long inbox. What was it about the People's Podcast that made you be like, man, this fits into your program?
I saw Sister Medina. When I looked at this woman, it was a podcast that you did about Master Farah Muhammad. When I looked at her, I know regal when I see it. You see what I'm saying, sir? Because I learned, I knew regal from a very early age. So when I saw her stature, the way she spoke, just the way she carried herself virtually, I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out to him because, I watch all of your podcasts. I really do. And so I said, this is the place to be. This is a platform. The brother's doing something really big to invite all platforms that people really never hear or see a lot. So I'm just very humbled to be here. I thank you so much.
Thank you. All praise due to Allah. Yes, and so I have a question. So my sisters, they think, my mom did as well, but mainly my sisters, that I have a type, and that my type of sister or woman, if that she may not have the best etiquette sometimes. They think that, I like a little rougher type of woman. Are you saying that if this is the case, she gets the etiquette course, that she'll be okay? Is that she can be regal? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Because if you really think about it, we were all born to be regal. It's already there. You just have to tap into the inside of it. A lot of the times I force people, they will laugh at me. I force them into delving into their femininity, which is very powerful. Our 7 units, a woman, if she's exercising the 7 units that we have, she's going to be the utmost regal woman that you ever walk into. Well, I mean, you're going to become her through our 7 units. You just have to tap into it and don't be afraid of it. A lot of us hide from things because we don't want anybody to think we're soft. Well, hell, we are soft. We're soft, and so we've left that behind. We've lost the art of entertaining each other with tea. That's why the tea protocol course is there. We've left that, and I want us to get back to that. When I see Black women, I see them as being very soft and very pretty, but someone have robbed and snatched us from that. And so now we'd rather be sexy. We want to be, no, I'm like, no, that's not you. So, I talk about oftentimes when you see a woman walk down the street, she may not be dressed properly, but when you tell her that she's pretty, immediately her walk is going to become different because she's not an object anymore. When you say, hey, ma'am, you look really pretty today, then her walk, her shoulder, she get real, now her stance is different. And so oftentimes you see women or whatever, and they don't see themselves as being pretty. I don't want to have tea. I ain't having no tea party. And if you play with me, we're going to play tea party all day because that's what I do. Because that's what I do. How to set a table. Even if it's just you and your husband, set a table for him. Even if you're by yourself, I always say this, you can have an Oreo any day, but that day that you set that tea table for yourself, have yourself a crumpet with that tea. You can set a tea table up from, the one of those fold out tables. Have your set it up for yourself because you deserve it. And Black women, we feel like we don't deserve those things. But in hindsight, we've been kicked out of what we were the founding women up, and that is etiquette. We set their tables. We were the ones to polish up their silverware. You know how to do this. You did it for them. You can do it for yourselves. And there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Okay. This is powerful. So I want to stick on this. So scones, right? So I just got introduced to scones, right? And it's like a thing for me now. And some people like, oh, Joshua, you're such a Karen. You act like a Karen because you eat scones. You think you're better than everybody. Can scones be a part of the tea?
Absolutely.
So you can eat scones and okay, boom.
You can eat scones. You can macaroons are good. They have tea biscuits. They have things that's appropriate for a tea party, and that's what we go into. And so I always tell people, don't let anybody fool you to act like they know so much about these teas. And we talk about this, during tea protocol training when I go around and I ask, what is high tea to you? Oh, high tea is this really fancy party. It's high, it's this and that. And I'm like, no. If there's high tables at your tea, then you can call it a high tea. If there's not any high tables at your tea, it's not a high tea affair. It's not a high tea party. So we really have to get into this, all the way down to your china. Why do you pour milk in the china first? If the china is delicate and you don't pour the milk in there, you pour hot tea, you can crack your fine china. There's a difference. There's all these different things that you learn in tea protocol.
Okay, beautiful. Praise be to Allah. My sister Miriam says, I want to have a tea party so bad. Like, sometimes my sister.
Come on with it. Listen, call me, Sister Miriam, 410-805-1818. Call me.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, great. So now with this tea party, is this just for the women, or is this like a date thing? You can
date. I encourage it. And even during tea protocol training, we talk about what the men shall wear during tea protocol training.
Okay.
My husband, he made fun of me because I have my little tea table set up and he just walked past and chuckled. I think he think I'll be too much. But he wanted one of my macaroons, though. He did one. He wanted one, so.
Yes, ma'am. So I just interviewed last Sunday one of my friends who's a professional golfer now, and he was talking about the dress code and how important dress code is to golf.
That's right.
How is that? How does that apply? What does a man wear? Meet a woman, you on a date to a tee. What's the attire?
Well, you want to be very conservative. And first of all, it's always good to stay dressed up because a woman once told me, her name was Dr. Fain, you never know when a meeting may take place. So you always want to be appropriate to begin with. So for a male, a nice button-down shirt, you can wear a bow tie, you can wear a tie. You don't necessarily have to wear a jacket, but you want to look dapper. Don't overkill. This is a tea party. You know, I know at Derby, we can get real crazy with hats and stuff at the Derby. We can get real, but it's a tea party. Mm. So, you know, nice slacks, nice dress socks. Brook Brothers, they make real nice dress socks for men. You know, just really nice, dapper, and conservative. Mm. And keep the pinky fingers down. It's really an insult. It's like mocking. It's mocking.
Okay, so explain to me the where this came from. Where did that come from?
You know, I don't know where it came from, but when I was going through tea protocol from someone that was overseas, this was years ago. She told me, don't ever do that. It's mocking. It's really like trying to call someone highfalutin, so to speak. It's very mocking, and there's really no need for it at all.
Okay, great. So note to self and note to everybody watching. Keep your pinkies down. Got it. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I mean, we're learning right now. We're learning tea protocols, things of this nature. Okay. Now, something else that you spoke about previously was the power of femininity.
Oh yeah.
What is the power?
When you're feminine, when a woman is soft, you can you know that saying, you catch more what did they say, you catch more bees with honey. When you're soft, you don't always have to go in aggressive to feel like you're getting what you want. There's power in who you are as a woman. You know, you can be soft but strong at the same time. It's power in that. You can go to a board meeting, you can speak straight words. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to take on a characteristic of what you think a male would be in a business office. There's there's power in it. You know, you may have to offer someone a kind word. You don't just be like, yeah, how you doing today? You know, it's just power. You want to, because he said, how you doing today, ma'am? How you doing today, sir? You may lighten the mood with your softness when they're going through such a detrimental time. You just never know. You know, I just feel like we're so afraid of it. We think that someone's gonna see us as someone weak because, you know, we're soft, but there's nothing wrong with that. Stop running from it. Don't be insecure with that, because that's where it comes from, a place of insecurity.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am. And thank you everybody who's watching all over the country. My sister Miriam says she was taught that the pinky finger was used by savages to clean their teeth with. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Sister Miriam. Awesome. Yes, I could see that. And you've seen people do it at the tables. We talk about that too. Picking your teeth at the table, folding pieces of paper and picking your teeth at a dinner table. We talk about all of that. As the etiquette training goes further in from basic tea protocol to etiquette 1, etiquette 2, we address all those issues all the way down to entertaining guests and what type of bed sheets to put on it. I'll give you a perfect example. Even if it's a relative, never have colored sheets on your bed. The standard is white. Everything white, because you want to make sure anybody can put a dirty purple sheet on the bed. So you want them to know, hey, these sheets are clean. You know, you get them from the best. Make sure when things are on sale that you grab them up, you wash them with like a something that the washing powder that doesn't cause an allergy. you can press out your sheets if you don't have any wrinkle guard on them, and you put them on the bed, but they have to be white, because if you go to someone's house and they give you a sheet and the sheet is other than white, you don't know if the sheet was washed or not. It could spray some perfume or some woolite, or what's that stuff called that people like, Febreze, and put it on the bed talking about these sheets are fresh. So we don't entertain like that. So we really go into in depth about those things. It's a very intense course all the way up to the time that you can get certified at the end of it. And you can use, it's a professionally development course that you can use on resumes. Yes, sir.
I'm just amazed. I know everybody's out here. I'm learning so much. Praise be to Allah. And my sister Naima says teach. My sister Miriam says your classes are so needed. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Okay, wonderful. Yes, ma'am. All right. So my next question for you is, once again, the website.
www.theacademyofcultivation.com.
Great. Yes, ma'am. Excellent. My next question for you is, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Oh, I was 4. My grandfather was in, he used to attend Mosque Number 1 in Detroit. I'm not sure if he was registered or not. Our household was the Farrakhan household. We had the clean and fresh. You would hear the minister blaring out of the speakers. And so I remember he was speaking, and I can remember what he had on and everything. I was 4. And so that's when the Vanguards back in the day, they used to have like the little fringy things on there. And we went to hear him speak, and I acted up so bad that me and my grandmother ended up having to sit in the car and listen to the rest of his speech on some radio station. But I never forgot his voice. My grandfather always talked about the minister. He played the minister in the house. My sister and I, we used to be junior MGTs at Mosque Number 1 in Detroit. Back then, Minister Rasul was the minister, and I think Brother Dawood, I think he was the assistant minister. And we had captains, I think her name was Letha Muhammad. I don't think that's her name now, but let me tell you, that class, orientation class, was something. When I left that class, I felt like I could take over the world. I'm telling you, we would go down there, and then at that time during Sunday, the meeting times was from 2 to 5. So I'm like, hurry up, because I need to go next door and get this fish sandwich. We were young then, but that's where I would that's the first time I heard. I was very young, and I never forgot his voice. I never forgot his voice. Even in all my foolishness throughout my years. And once you're given a tool, you may not use that tool then. The tool was his voice. The tool was my grandfather in the household that had a level of sometimes chaos, and the teachings are there. And if you picked up that tool while you were in the household, that tool helped you out to move away from the chaos, and even to take it further on as you've gotten older. Because my grandfather, my sister told me, he said, Granddad told her one time, it's time for the Black man to get out the white man's lap. He would say stuff like that. And so he was a do for self male. That's where we all get it from, the grandchildren. He had his own cab company. Then he bought a limo, from what I understood. Then he was an electrician. And you can go with him that day. If he would pay you as long as you can do the math. Because he was big on math. Yes,
I see the recall. How you just tied this back into early with the math. I'm with you. Can't run from math. My sister, Sister Khadija from Chester, Pennsylvania, says all praise is due to Allah, and thank you everyone who's showing love all across the country as well. Okay, so what was it that made you have your aha moment, your realization, your eureka moment, if you will, that you wanted to accept the teachings and get registered?
It was always in me It never left me. I was wild too. I had my wild periods, and like we all do.
Yes, ma'am.
After I graduated from UNLV, because I'm from Detroit, but I came to Vegas, visit the mosque a couple of times. I couldn't get with the city of Vegas, so I moved back to Detroit, and then I was only to be back out here like 2 months later, because my dad was like, "You need to come back." That was my biological father. He like, "You need to come back. You didn't even give it a chance. Come on back." So I came back, and after I graduated from UNLV, birds have commands, y'all. Like they really do. And so I remember my friend used to always be like, "Oh, my sister lives in Richmond. She lives in Richmond, Richmond." I'm like, where is that? She was like, "Virginia." So when I graduated from UNLV, I just was like, "I'm moving to Richmond." And so I got into working at voters registration, was a whole other shebang of politics that I just really wasn't ready for. But I started waking up 4 in the morning for no reason. I'm like, what in the world? So I was like, I think I better start making some type of prayer here. So I started making prayer. I didn't know if I was performing Salat correctly, but I was trying to do something, probably looking a hot mess. And then my mother said, I told my mother, I said, these people are saying that, Maryland is a good place for young Black people who just graduated from college. And so I said, I put on Facebook, I said, I'm gonna go check out Silver Spring. So Tiffany Burnett, at that time, I did attend college in Michigan and I just wasn't doing well. She lived on the floor. We both lived in this dorm called Van Wagner House. So she lived on the floor. And so I hadn't seen her since like 23. And even then, we weren't really cool. She helped me out though, her and her mother, with like tuition one time. It was ironic, but now I got it now. So now flash forward, she said, "I'm gonna come and see you." So she came to see me when we were visiting Silver Springs. She says to me, and I'm not lying, she said, "Move to Owings Mills. I live there." I said, "Where's that?" "In Baltimore." I said, "Well, I don't know, because the wire. I ain't trying to move."
Exactly.
I ain't gonna be out here. She was like, "Girl, come on." Then she says, "When you move there, apply for home properties." And I just did it, but before getting there, my mother and I went into a thrift store and I saw a Quran. It was called the Noble Quran. I said, "Let me pick this up." But the interpretation was rough. So, and I mean, the interpretation was so rough. I said, "Oh my God, I'm irredeemable. I'm not going to make it." I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, I said, I must have been very rebellious for him to bring me something that was interpreted to snap me out of it. So flash forward, then, I get to Maryland, I apply. We sitting there talking to the people in the leasing office. The lady seemed real cool. She said, "Well, you and your mother just come on and apply for this property. Come on and apply." So we applied and both of us get approved. She said, "Well, you might as well move on up here now." So this is how fast it was moving then. I couldn't stop it. It was like a chessboard that was moving and I couldn't stop it. So we moved there. About a week later, she was like, "Have you found work yet?" The leasing manager. I said, "No." She said, "Well, come on and put an application in." So they hired me. So I started working. I was like, "Oh, this is moving." So Tiffany calls for an apartment for her friend and I picked the phone up. And she said, "You work there?" I said, "Yeah, you told me to apply for." But you see where I'm going with this. So after that, I was like, this is a lot of work. It's good money, but it's a lot of work. Oh, Allah, if you let me out, I'm going to go to the mosque. So one Sunday, I finally was off and I went to the mosque. And so I remember Sister Chanel at that time, she was Sister Protocol. She said, "You going to come back?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to come back." It was a year later. And so, because I was working. And so then, I begged again. It was time for Savior's Day. And my mom and I were going to drive back to Detroit. We wanted to visit our family and stuff like that. So I got interviewed that day at the college that I had been trying to get into. And the lady was like, "You getting ready to get on the road to go to Detroit?" She said, "I would have interviewed you at a later time, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity." So I interviewed, well, Diane Drake, she already had all the paperwork and stuff filled out. You know how they give you the W-4 form. And so she said, you're gonna be just fine. So we go on to Savior's Day, come back about a month later. I get the job. I'm trying to be patient. I get the job at the college. But the problem was I get it part-time. I was like, oh, but I done already made a promise. So I go on down to the mosque. I start going to orientation class. I believe everybody's assigned to people. So Sister Foresta, you know, Sister Tawana, she was in the processing area at that time. She sent Sister Foresta to take me out to dinner and all that. And she and I became really good friends. And so one day we were all downstairs and she was practicing with me reciting. We were downstairs. She said, come on, Sister Cap wants to see you. I'm like, for what? You know, and so I'm like, oh, you know, I get over there. She's like, okay, you ready to recite? I'm like, no, because in my head, I didn't know this. That stuff came out like this. I said, oh boy, you know, because I'm like, I don't know it came out. And that's how I got registered. And then after I got registered, then the trials started coming back to back. Oh yeah. I was like, maybe this wasn't for me. And then I was told, yes, ma'am, it is. So just to say that once Allah gets after you and he starts moving the chessboard, you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it, but just let go and move in all your foolishness. And I had plenty of it and still got it. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. And people are showing you love all across the country. My sister Miriam says, all praise due to Allah. Well, speaking of your trials, let's stay right there. What has been your greatest trial in life, and how have you been able to overcome that trial?
I'm fresh out of a trial. Me and my mother for the last 7 days have been in the trial. And in the room with us in the trial was me, her, and Allah. That was it. She had 2 trials running. I had 2 trials running. And so I'm really just learning that you don't run the show. You don't. You're not the author of any trial that comes your way. And I'm still learning that as we speak. But there are assignments given. And I just want to read this because we have this term, you know, because we always make this term. So you see these posts and so said he understood the assignment. She understood the assignment. Well, what the hell kind of assignment do you have? You know, it's like, what's the assignment? What is your assignment? What does it really mean to have the assignment? Who did you get your assignment from? Mm-hmm. Because those of us who get the assignment from Allah, then we know that the trial is right on the side of the assignment. And so early on, we get these assignments and we're not fully developed. So everybody, you know, you out here battling with yourself or whatever, because now you're full swing ahead into the assignment and you can't even see 2 feet in front of you. You just know that you're told to move and go, and then there's trial. And so you're learning at the same time how to lean on Allah, how to call on God, because you don't know him. I always tell people, you don't know him like that until he inflicts some pain on you. Mm-hmm. You don't know him. I didn't know, I thought I knew who the God was. When I got registered, baby, he showed me who he was immediately. I called Sister Noni in Pittsburgh. I'm like, hey, something's not right here. She was like, no, ma'am, it's right. That's how it is. And so I'm still learning. You asked me the question of how do I handle trial? I act a fool, kicking and screaming all the way. And every time I kick and scream, then the heat gets turned up even more, and I kick and scream more until I finally clunk out and be like, okay, I'm just gonna fall back and listen. That's how I handle it. That's my truth, because I'm not perfect. So I handle trials. Sometimes, I get to acting a fool.
Mm.
Mhm.
So you're saying in between tea and crumpets, you throw a little, you act a fool a little bit.
No, no, I act a fool, but I'm still at the same time, I'm still being a lady.
Yes,
At the
ma'am. Yes,
same
ma'am.
time, I might be kicking and screaming, but it's a different kind of kick and scream.
All praise is due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Wonderful. And we have a few more questions for you, but first we want to make sure that we give a quick 60-second commercial break to all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast this month. I want to thank everyone all across the country, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everyone who shares the People's Podcast consistently, like, and shares. If you would like to be a sponsor and or donor, please cash app the People's Podcast. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book, all three available on Amazon. Please get those. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy LLC. She teaches ballet virtually and now has sold out her class in studio in Atlanta. We love our tiny dancers. Rod Communications. If you're working on a book and you need copy editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Rod Communications. Fashion Gods, 314-329-6009. He'll keep you dressed in the best of fashion, keep you dripping in high-end clothes. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad, conflict mediation, squashing the beef throughout the Southwest region. He does a phenomenal job. Also, his wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, Children of the Most High, giving birth to a God in the science of child rearing. Please reach out to her. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the nation. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Thank you all very much for every like, share, and subscription. Right back to our Sister Denesha, who is teaching us about the power of femininity, teaching us about etiquette, about tea and crumpets, about everything, the math, science, and of course the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and how to overcome trial. Have you ever been faced with fear, Sister Denesha? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Absolutely. It's just, I'm in the middle of it now.
Mm.
Fear. It's one of those things where you just face it head on. Don't try to run from it, because it'll, no matter what, it's going to keep on coming up. Allah will make sure that it keeps coming up until you get a hold of it. So you may as well just face it head on. So I just recently faced a fear head on, because I had no choice but to face it.
Mm. Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Sister Noni Muhammad says, such an enlightening interview with making the messenger's word bond. Thank you, Sister Noni. I think this is Noni's first time watching. Thank you very much for continuing to watch. Okay. Well, what do you do for fun, Sister Denesha?
I have tea parties and force. I have tea parties and
Okay.
I force women. I had this program going. I started it in 2020 during the pandemic, called Table Wars. So there was women from around the world who I just basically got and said, we're having a table setting contest. Just do your best. So I wanted to give us those type of things to do. Like any other woman, I love to shop. I love to travel. Still getting over my fear of traveling during these COVID times, because you better not even sneeze in my presence, because I'll get up and start spraying with Lysol and checking my temperature and stuff. That's one of my fears. And as I've gotten older, really my fun just really consists of just trying to have a peace of mind. Exercising my 7 units, I try to do that. That can be pretty fun. That's your opportunity to tap into your creative ability. But just like any other woman, I like to shop, travel, cook for fun, color. People like, you color? Yes, I have a Black woman's coloring book I sent to a couple of sisters. So I like to try different things for fun, righteous fun.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent. What type of music do you like to listen to?
Jazz, Latin jazz, old school music. I don't classical. I do not like trap music. I'm not a trap music fan. I'm like, I don't even know who Lil Baby, Lil Boosie, and all of them. I don't, I don't, it's all these little people. I don't know, but Latin jazz, I like jazz. Michael Franks is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Classical music, R&B. I would say those are my top. Yeah.
Okay, great. My sister Miriam says she loves coloring too. It's so relaxing.
Oh,
Sister Noni says yes, the coloring is fun. I have to introduce you all to something called video games and things like that, because if y'all still coloring, we got to get y'all to some technology. Once y'all get introduced to technology, y'all really gonna have some fun. If y'all like coloring, wait till you get a hold of some video games.
is it the platform where you do the if you're moving stuff around like graphic where they color and make different arts?
I'm sure they do have that. It's not something I would play. I'm more of Call of Duty shooting games or sports games,
No,
but
sir.
I'm sure they got someone there for girls. I'm sure y'all can get, play that. I can
No,
watch some
because
classes.
coloring to have that if you ever notice when people color, they start getting real quiet and they really get into it. It's a moment that it's a moment that you just it's one of those therapeutic moments.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now, what about music at a tea party?
You want to make sure at any party, at any event that you get, make sure your playlist it matches the party. There's not going to be any tea and trap. Okay, that's
You
not going
hate
to
trap.
happen.
You from Detroit, but you hate trap music, but you're from Detroit. I'm so confused.
Yeah, but Detroit. I grew up in the era where house music was on in Detroit.
Okay.
But tea and trap doesn't make. You can have like classical or jazz, but at any party, make sure that it matches. If you're having a gathering, don't turn and blare the music up where your guests will have to yell over each other, because that's not inviting, you know.
Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. And my next question is, do you put together do you host events?
I used to, as my friends call them, the bougie, that they're not though. I used prior to COVID, I hosted events.
Okay, great. And my sister Miriam said she's sure someone would try to throw a trap tea party. Maybe,
They're gonna do it as soon as they hear tea and trap. It's coming. And I'm busting all up through there.
Yes, ma'am. And we thank you for that. All right. Well, my last question for you is, what advice would you give to future wives?
You have to be see, for everybody, it's gonna be different depending on their assignment. So for future wives, because I'm only coming up on my 5th year on the 17th. So I would say you have to, that's your time to pull on God, because he will walk you through being that wife. He really will. Because when you get married, your role changes. And depending on where your husband is in life, your role will continue to change as he gets developed. You'll get developed in a different kind of way. And you both will face different trials. So at the same time, Allah is always in the center of your marriage at all times, but you will learn how to pull on him in a different way. And that's from any for any woman, even women of the church, women wherever you are, you have to learn how to now pull on God, because he will walk you through being a helpmeet. That doesn't happen right away. It doesn't. Your husband's role will change, your role will change. And you will learn, and through the trials and his trials and your trials, you'll learn how to be a helpmeet a real help me, not something silly, because marriage is very serious. And I'm really starting to learn that as, the years go on.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Thank everyone who's watching. One more time, Sis Denesha, where can we get the website?
www.theacademyofcultivation.com. And this is not something everybody wanted. It's not something that I just do, even with the ESL courses. I know people are a little bit skeptical sometimes, but don't worry. My major was linguistics. I have a degree in linguistic studies. It's really how language processes in the brain. It's the study of language mathematically. And I didn't even know what my major was until I got into the nation. And I'm still digging into my major. My husband gave me a book called The Language of the Birds. He said the God was the best linguist. And I delved right in, not even knowing what I majored in.
All praise due to Allah. So you're saying the issues that I'm having in college with Spanish, which is one of the hardest classes I've ever taken, by the way. I'm just telling you.
Why?
Spanish is just not the colors, not the days of the week, it's just the conjugating verbs.
Oh, call me. I can help you with that. Let me read this to you. Linguistics is the scientific study of human language and its structure. So you can do this, but what happens typically is when you give a child a language before puberty, they can master like 5 or 6, maybe more at one time. I did an experiment in that. But after puberty, you start wanting to rap. That's why you can't conjugate the verbs. No, because this is supposed to be subject, verb, object. This is the way it is in English. This is how it's going to be. That's not the case for Spanish or any other language. Russian was very interesting to me. So it was, I was given that. I'm like, I don't talk to you as like you do now. Let's go translate it. So you really call me because I can help you with the verb conjugation. I really can.
Oh, praise due to Allah. And you speak Russian too?
No, I don't speak I speak Spanish, but I don't speak any of these languages. I'm a linguist. So nothing seems foreign to me. You can put any language in front of me and I can use a technique to transcribe them. Linguistics is not, it's not, I didn't see very many of me there at all. I probably was the only one, but it's a very interesting major to get into. It can go into neurolinguistics in terms of how language processes in the brain. It can do a lot of different things, but it's really scientific. It's like a science, yes.
Perfect. Okay, yes, ma'am. And thank you, Sis Denesha. Some people are showing you love in the comments. One more question. What would you like your legacy to be, ma'am?
That I honestly, that I became the woman of refinement and regalness that Allah built me to be. I want to really be that supreme MGT, which to me represents just a femininity beyond what I can imagine. If they had to say anything about, they'd be like, she was a lady. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you never did you pledge? You didn't pledge? You weren't in the sorority?
I did. I am a Sigma Gamma Rho. We were founded in 1922. We are coming up on our 100 years. So shout out to all my sorors, Go Blue and Gold, last created, best design. All the poodle walking ladies. Yes. My sorority was the first Black sorority in the Rose Parade. Come on. And we won. Yes. Yes.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I could just tell. I knew it was some kind of sorority stuff going on. I was like, okay, she got me this.
No, I'm also a member of Top Ladies of Distinction, Las Vegas, the Greater Las Vegas chapter, beautiful women inside of that. And also I'm a member of the Society Incorporated, another powerhouse group of women. But the shout out have to go to my MGT. That is the best sorority you can ever be in. Yes, indeed.
All praise to Allah. And also the fact that you went to UNLV, the UNLV Rebels, I saw the 30 for 30. on the, I don't know, this might have been your time period, but with Larry Johnson and all of them back in the day, that was a great documentary I saw on the UNLV basketball team, college basketball team, that they lost like 2 games before the championship, or they lost in the championship, but it was a good documentary either way.
I never really got into the sports side of UNLV. I was an older undergrad, so I had a rough time. I paid my own way through college, and I worked all the time. So it was rough. That's a whole other story.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, one more question. Speaking of that, what advice would you give to people about not giving up in pursuit of their higher education?
Don't give up. The first thing you want to do is when you pick a field, you want to make sure it's not I call it the Mickey Mouse majors. But whatever you pursue, make sure that you can utilize it and that it's one of those fields that will keep moving. The engine is still there. I would say be that engine, continue to move, get around people that are moving. People like to use a boat. I like to use a train. My sister told me one time, she said, sometimes you move like a train. You just go, just dart out and go. And so I would say get around people who are moving in the same direction that you are moving. If you have any type of goal, sometimes just like right now, it feels like you're pushing, for me, if you're pushing a boulder up a mountain, keep pushing. Even when you don't have but one person show up, keep pushing, because sometimes we don't show up like that. I don't care if it's a relative, you push for them. Just keep stay in motion, because remember, you have to stay in motion to achieve a goal.
Well, go ahead and teach, Sister Minister. Go ahead and teach. All praises to
No, sir.
Well,
you have to be moving towards something, or else it's just you're really not moving.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you and thank everyone who watched. It was an honor, ma'am. This is and we got to bring you back because we have so many other things that we can talk about, but there's always subjects that I like the input from the sisters, especially dealing with femininity, higher education, now etiquette. You put me onto this etiquette thing. My mom's is big into that. My sisters are into it. So I don't take it for granted. But according to them, some of the sisters I a little ratchet, a little bit, a little hood on there, you know what I'm saying? So we got to work on, civilization, MGT, general class civilization and etiquette. Yes. Thank you, Sis Denesha, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you very much.